When I'm out riding, it is pretty obvious that I'm a biker. Now, aside from the obvious fact that I'm riding a motorcycle, there are other things about my appearance that do give it away. Mostly, it's the clothes that I'm wearing, but you can definitely tell. Now, when I'm not out riding, there are a few days where it's probably clear to some that I am a biker, but a little doubt may remain, simply because I'm not riding my motorcycle. Now, I do wear a motorcycle chain bracelet and a motorcycle chain ring. Now, that does at least seem to indicate that I may ride, or it might also indicate that I just have a peculiar taste in jewelry. Some days when I'm teaching in my classroom, I normally wear a shirt and tie. You wouldn't have the first clue that I've even been around a motorcycle. And that led me to the question, how does it look to others when I'm thinking about my faith? Is it clear to others every single day that I'm a Christian? Is it the same example I set about my lifestyle as a biker? Is it abundantly clear on some days, questionable on others, and completely undetectable on still yet other days? Well, unfortunately, the short answer to that is yes. But I get a feeling that we're all like that in some regard, and I have no doubt it probably brings us a bit of shame and guilt. For me, when I'm aware of it, I feel like a hypocrite. Now, when we come to salvation by grace through faith, there's a transformation in our lives. In my last devotion, I spoke of the process of sanctification. And this devotion will probably play on that same subject just a little bit more. But for now, let's go back to that moment of our salvation. In that very instant, we are justified. There has been a dynamic shift in our lives. And truthfully, everyone around us is abundantly aware of it because we are filled with an excitement that just overflows. To those around us, there is no question about our faith in Jesus Christ. Now, unfortunately, after a time, we all seem to fall back into the daily routines of school, work, family obligations, and other activities that seem to vie for our time and pull us away from that fervor that we once felt. Now, that doesn't mean we've lost our faith, but we're probably just not exhibiting our faith in the way that we did when we experienced that joy of salvation. We lose the balance and the priorities of our life are out of order. When I preach on Sundays, I hope that it's obvious to those around me that I am living out my faith, that I have found salvation in Jesus Christ. But what about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? Mondays are somewhat demonstrative of my faith because that's when I try to get out my devotions. Now, sometimes the rest of the week, it may not be so obvious to others because I don't display my faith in a visible way. Or maybe I don't take advantage of the opportunities to have a gospel conversation with others. Other weeks, it may be abundantly clear of the fire that burns in me for Christ and seeing others come to salvation. Now, does this ebb and flow make me a bad person? Does it make me a terrible Christian? Does it qualify me as the hypocrite that I sometimes believe myself to be? Fortunately, the short answer here is no. God knows my heart, and God knows my desire to share the gospel. What sets me apart, what distinguishes me from the hypocrite that I sometimes see in the mirror, is that I'm assured of my salvation, and I know that I'm undergoing that process of sanctification. This is obvious to me because I look at who I am now, and I see how much I have grown since last year. I could go back to this same point in time last year and compare myself to the previous year and see yet again that I have still grown. Now, I'm going to take a sidebar here for a minute and just mention this. If you haven't tried journaling about your faith, I strongly encourage it. Start today. Do it daily. Build up that habit. What will happen is through your own words, you will be able to see the transformation that has taken place in your life. These words that I read in Colossians are very encouraging to me. So as to walk in a manner worthy of the Lord, fully pleasing to Him, bearing fruit in every good work, and increasing in the knowledge of God. Do you see that word, increasing? That word provides hope to the Christian who is beating themselves up over some perceived failure in their faith. The truth is we all suffer setbacks from time to time. The point is that we learn from them and we grow. We increase. If we're not increasing, if we're not growing, then we really need to sit down and truly examine our faith. But what happens when we are living out our faith is we become more demonstrative outwardly. And that happens as we mature spiritually. Our lives are living examples of the gospel that we so deeply cherish. It's a living testimony to the love and grace that can only be found in Christ. When we do this, even when we fail and subsequently grow, we are demonstrating obedience and faith in these words of Jesus. By this my Father is glorified, that you bear much fruit and so prove to be my disciples. We grow. We increase. We begin to bear fruit. That is the outward demonstration of our faith. We can't let the setbacks in life, the crazy schedules of this hectic world, provide us with the excuses that we use so many times for not reading our Bible, for not attending church, or maybe for that unfortunate slip of the tongue, or for that impure thought that we might have just had, and for not sharing the gospel with others, either through word or example. We set ourselves apart by recognizing these shortcomings and then increasing and growing. God already knows your heart. Through your faith, the world will see who you are as well. Through that witness, the kingdom will grow. Don't lose heart. Just keep growing and increasing. And we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to His purpose.